The Man Who Forgot Grace. In the late Joseon era, there lived a merchant named Park Jin-soo. He had once been a modest trader. But when greed took root, it blinded him. He bought silk on credit, borrowed more to expand further, always chasing something bigger. But the world does not move according to a man's calculations. Torrential rain swallowed the fields. Ships overturned. Trading partners went bankrupt. In his ledger stood a number beyond imagination. 10,000 talents. An amount he could never repay in a lifetime. He was dragged before the magistrate. If you cannot repay your debt, your house, your wife, your children, and even you yourself will be sold. The voice was cold. Only then did Park Jin-soo collapse. Spare me. Spare my children. He struck his forehead against the dirt. And then something unexpected happened. The governor who ruled the region looked down at him quietly and said, "Cancel it all." The court murmured in disbelief. All 10,000 talents. Yes. If a man has already fallen this low, why trample him further? With that single sentence, the debt disappeared. The ledger was torn. The shackles were removed. Park Jin-soo wept and bowed. I will never forget this grace for the rest of my life. But the human heart forgets faster than it remembers. Only days later, in the marketplace, he seized a man by the collar. The man was a lowly worker who owed him 100 denarii, a small amount, thus compared to 10,000 talents. Pay me what you owe. Please just give me a few more days. Park Jin-soo's face hardened. Do you take me for a fool? Ignoring the pleas around him, he dragged the man away and had him thrown into prison. Stay there until you pay. An official witnessed it. The news reached the governor. Park Jin-soo was summoned again. How much did I forgive you? 10,000 talents. And yet you could not endure 100 denarii? Silence fell heavy in the room. If you do not understand grace, the governor said quietly, then that grace must be taken back. The torn ledger was reopened. The shackles returned. As he was led away, there was no anger on his face, only late realization. Why was I so impatient? In prison, at first, he burned with resentment. Was it not his right to collect what was owed? But when the nights grew cold and silent, the governor's words struck him like iron. If you do not understand grace, it must be taken back. He began to weigh 10,000 talents against 100 denarii. The scale did not even move. Why then had the smaller debt seemed so large? He realized he had not been clutching money. He had been clutching fear. Fear of becoming poor again. Fear of falling again. Fear of being looked down upon. He had wanted to appear strong, unyielding, unmerciful. But the collar he grabbed had become a hand around his own throat. One rainy night, he broke down. The sky was so blue the day I was forgiven. Why did I darken another man's sky? His tears were no longer defensive. They were honest. From that day forward, he changed even within the prison walls. He carried water for others. He tended to the wounded. He asked for nothing in return. When the governor summoned him again in spring, he asked, "What have you learned?" Park Jin-soo bowed deeply. Grace is not something to calculate. Forgiveness must be released, not clutched. I tried to hold on to 100 denarii and nearly lost my soul. The governor studied him and said, "Now you understand freedom." He was released. This time, there were no conditions. Only one sentence remained with him. Do not forget grace. He returned to the marketplace, but he was no longer the same man. He asked about people's circumstances before discussing payment. He extended deadlines. He reduced debts for those who struggled. People whispered that he had changed. He only smiled. He knew now that prison walls are not made of stone. They are built the moment we forget grace. Years passed. He grew old. His wealth was modest, but his shop was always full. People came not only to borrow money, but to seek counsel. To young merchants, he would say, "Learn to use your heart better than your ledger." Numbers remain. Grace fades easily. So you must remember it every day. When his final days approached, he gathered his family and said, "I leave you little wealth. But remember this. If someone wrongs you, first remember the mercy you have received. Otherwise, you will close the door of your own prison." His last whisper was not regret. "I am a man who was forgiven 10,000 talents. After he passed, people continued to tell his story. It began as a tale of failure, but it became a mirror for every listener. In the marketplace, when voices rose in anger, someone would mutter, "Remember the 10,000 talents." When families argued over inheritance, someone would say, "Then 100 denarii can be released." Over time, the habit of remembering grace changed the entire town. But the story does not end there. Because human nature still calculates, still measures, still clutches. So the tale must be told again and again. The true debt is not money. It is resentment kept in the heart. The true forgiveness is not written in a ledger. It happens within the soul. Even now, somewhere at sunset, two people stand facing each other. One gripping old anger, the other trembling in defense. Between them stands a quiet reminder. Remember the 10,000 talents. then the 100 denarii will loosen from your hand. The problem may not vanish, but neither will either be thrown into a prison. And so the story asks one final question. What are you holding on to today? Are you closing the door of your own freedom over 100 denarii? If so, pause. Have you not also been forgiven 10,000 talents at some point in your life? The moment you remember, the door opens. And that is where true freedom begins.